Well, a blueprint and a new brand design to capture more value for New Zealand sheep meat and beef overseas was unveiled by Beef and Lamb NZ this week. The red meat story and the Taste Pure Nature Origin brand will be used as a global brand platform to underpin exporters' marketing programs. We are joined now by Beef and Lamb's Michael Wan. Michael, welcome. What exactly is the red meat story and the Taste Pure Nature brand?
Yeah, well, good morning. It's great to be here. Well, what we've developed is Taste Pure Nature, which is a global brand story and brand itself, which will help us, as you said, position New Zealand sheep meat and beef overseas at a premium to ultimately capture greater returns for our farmers and our rural communities.
How long have these initiatives been in development for, and who's been involved? Who's done the groundwork? Who's got this off the ground?
Well, it's very much been led by Beef and Lamb New Zealand and the market development team in particular. But throughout this entire process, we've been fundamentally using a philosophy of a collective industry approach. So we've been very much engaged and collaborative with both our meat exporting companies and our farmers as well. But Beef and Lamb has ultimately been leading this process.
Where do the meat companies sit on this? Were they come on side quickly?
Yeah, it's been a development process over the last 12 months or so, and there's been a lot of engagement throughout that process. We're really pleased to say that we've got the entire meat sector or meat processing companies on board and supportive of the brand and our implementation plan, and we're now working very closely with them on more of a detailed blueprint, if you like, to activate the brand in certain pilot markets. And in the last few days, as we've gone out to farmers and shared the brand with them, the response has been overwhelmingly positive.
Michael, congratulations. I think you've done a fantastic job, and we certainly did need a cohesive umbrella brand. I'm fully in support of it. But do you think it's not going to sort of confuse the market? What about all the individual brands that are all out there? How is this going to work alongside those already existing brands in the marketplace?
Sure. So throughout this process, we've conducted some very in-depth research, both qualitative and quantitative. And throughout that research process, what we learned very clearly was that country of origin plays an incredibly important role in purchase decisions. And what that does is set up a framework or a platform for our meat processing brand owners, if you like, to leverage a base origin platform to tell their own unique, differentiated stories. So they work in harmony with one another, but country of origin is a very important tool and resource for retailers and consumers, for example, when they're making decisions, because it acts as a shortcut to understanding and a shortcut to trust.
Yeah, absolutely. So for those of you who haven't seen it, we'll put that on the radiolive.co.nz/Rex website, the link, or go to the Rural Exchange Facebook page where I've uploaded the video to have a look. But I think that if you could summarise it for me, what your key points were that you wanted to hit in that video in particular.
Sure. Just drawing on that research again, what we found is that consumers internationally are far more anxious these days around their food. You know, where does it come from, what's in it, as well as animal welfare. And so we learned throughout that process that what's really appealing and unique to New Zealand is this natural way we raise our animals, you know, in a natural environment with the rhythms of nature, as close to nature as intended. The animals are grass-fed, you know, antibiotic and hormone-free and so on. And what people are really wanting, these are international consumers, what they're really wanting is this connection to, as they described it to us, real food that's natural. And so New Zealand's got a unique opportunity here to capture that desire and to present its story to those customers to ultimately capture that greater value in return.
Has there been similar sort of prototypes or programs elsewhere in the world that have worked and have paid off for their red meat sectors?
Yeah, there are, and you know, throughout that research again, what we found is that there are international competitors such as Australia who are investing significantly in market development. So not just in consumer promotion, but they're investing significant amounts of money, time, energy in establishing their brand throughout the supply chain. So with importers, distributors, wholesalers, retailers and so on. We've also got the likes of Ireland with their Origin Green program and so on. And so what that's done is position them much higher in a premium ranking to that of New Zealand. Arguably, well not arguably, actually what we found is that the perception of New Zealand as a country and awareness of New Zealand as a country is overall very positive, but when it comes to red meat and the context of red meat, the perception and understanding of New Zealand's farming production systems is very weak. And so we're getting left behind our international competitors who are investing significantly in the positioning of their brand in the same markets that we want to target.
It's an interesting one, being a little bit of a devil's advocate, looking at some commentary on social media about it by, some smart Alex who don't understand marketing, I'll put it out there. But, I mean, to be fair, they're saying things like, but hang on a minute, this is all be a bit of smoke and mirrors. Where's the irrigators and the, this and that, dry riverbeds and fertiliser, being sprayed on and all those sorts of things. And this is the difference, is what something visually looks like in terms of a perception of farming versus understanding our farm management systems and why we do it to better the environment. But we don't tell that visually in our marketing like this because people don't understand it. There's a confusion there that still gets me, Michael.
Well, two things really. What we've designed here is something that puts our best foot forward. And so we've developed the best and enhanced the best components of our New Zealand farming production systems overall, and we've put that forward into this brand. So look, it's like putting the All Blacks on the field or your provincial team. We've put our All Blacks on the field here and put our best foot forward. And sure, there are elements of our farming production systems that need improvement, and we're aware of that, and we understand that, and those are things that we have been working very hard on and will continue to work hard on, because ultimately what we do here and how we farm enables us to tell the story that consumers want to hear. So they all work in harmony with one another. We need to actively and continue actively working on improving our farm practices so that it enables us to tell a story, an enhanced story that actually consumers want to believe in and value and will pay more for.
Michael, just think, we mentioned grass-fed, which predominantly is New Zealand. We want to know where it comes from. You said what's in it, animal welfare, etc., etc. In comparison with what we produce compared with any of our competitors, what percentage are we, New Zealand, grass-fed compared with, for example, Australia?
Look, I don't actually know the numbers, Richard, off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I think New Zealand's farm production system, it's probably 99.999% of our total farm production system in terms of sheep and beef are grass-fed. In Australia, for example, look, I don't know the exact numbers. It could be 50-50. But Australia don't just market themselves as a grass-fed producer.
Yeah.
They also market the fact that they have grain finished and full grain production as well in terms of their sheep and beef meat available. So they've gone the whole gambit. But what's really pleasing is that when we put New Zealand's story up, and we actually used Australia as a global exemplar to evaluate our story against theirs, because they'd been doing so well, when we put them both up in front of consumers, it was very clear early on that New Zealand's unique story is much more believable than that of, say, Australia in this case.
Radio Live Rural Exchange.
There we go, Michael there. So just clarify for me, guys. I just want to, so I have from the northern Manawatu, the old Clearvaux farm, I produce my own lamb, and I buy a license to have that, correct, to have the taste pure nature on my, how does it work?
Yes, you might buy it, but before you even go there, your animals, your farming system has to be up to scratch.
Yeah.
We want to know
So
where
I
it came from.
I don't get given a
your farm.
license. Yeah.
But, Richard Lowe, what about these processors who are not uptaking the National Assurance Program that was meant to be the underlying benchmark program?
Exactly.
And you see, and they go, no, they're all too good for that, but then they've got to associate it with a joint brand.
Yeah.
Tell me about the collaboration going on.
Well,
Sorry.
we need everyone under the same umbrella, and for those urbanites that listen, we get visited, and some of us supply more than one meat processor.
Yep.
So in the old days, they all used to have their own people come and see us.
Yeah.
Then we came together. Now we're splitting up. So if you supply 2 or 3 different processes, you'll have to get valuated 2 or 3 different times now, which is wrong.
Yeah.
The biggest trouble for anyone selling a product is not knowing the consistency of your supply.
So if you get your farm
what's
in
the point
line-
of marketing a fantastic product if you can't get that in line? So, but still, well done, beef and lamb for making that.
Okay.
I think everyone's
First
heading
step.
towards the right angle here, but it's quite we are grass fed. 99.9% he said roughly.
Yep.
In comparison with Australia 50-50.
Do you think that's a story we should be telling more than anything? Is
Yeah,
that
because hey, some people like their grain-fed beef. Let them have it. Let them go to Australia
let
to
them
have
get
it.
their cancer? Yeah. No,
And
sorry.
let us make sure what we produce is brilliant.
Time for a break. Rural Exchange.